Alright, what's up guys? Alex Glenn here. It's my buddy Jared. You see him in my workout edits recently. One of my good gym buddies. We're always grinding in the gym together, so got a lot of respect for this guy here, and he's learning a lot and helps me push myself in there, and we kind of push each other. So I figured today we do a cool Q&A, just answer some of the common questions both of us receive from people. And one thing I quickly want to address before we do this video is I would consider myself no, not a professional by any means in this whole fitness industry. I'm not a doctor. I'm not some crazy trainer for 50 years. I'm just a 19-year-old kid. I'm a certified personal trainer, and I have a passion for working out, and I do hours on end of research, and I hope to at least help you guys and talk about my personal experience and all those things, and hopefully that you guys can learn from my mistakes, some things I find that help myself, and build yourselves up as well as I'm building myself up. So we're gonna get right into this Q&A. Okay, so question number one, and again, I'm just gonna keep these questions all random. For the most, they're not any specific questions that one person has said, and I don't want to call anybody out because I know lots of these questions they're serious questions that people ask, and everyone's kind of embarrassed to ask certain questions. So I'm gonna keep them all random and just answer them the best that we can. So this first question we have is why you shouldn't be scared to go to the gym for the first time. So I guess right off the bat is the gym can be a very intimidating thing, especially for girls, but even guys. And lots of us are very insecure when we start going to the gym. Maybe we're not big enough, maybe we're not strong enough, or we just don't feel comfortable with ourselves. But I guess the biggest thing that can help new people in the gym is just they don't realize what's ahead, what's at stake. They can build up so much more confidence just by getting in better shape, by feeling better inside the gym. Yeah. I don't know, I know you when you were at college last year, you kind of took a time off from the gym. Was there any time when you were questioning going back to the gym, or feeling like you were insecure, or feeling like you just didn't know what to do? Or
yeah, so in high school actually, I was lifting a lot and I was super confident in the gym and I knew what I was doing. And another thing to add on there is a lot of people going into the gym don't know what they're doing, and it demoralizes them and it scares them overall to get into the gym. But yeah, so I didn't lift for about a year, and then I was just getting back into it, and I was honestly scared going in there just because there were a lot of football guys in there and a lot of people that look better and are a lot stronger than me. So, I mean, overall, you just gotta not worry about what other people are thinking about you, and you just have to worry about yourself and what you care about.
100%. I think that's a great point, is you just can't, it's this whole journey with fitness, whether you are trying to become healthy, whether you're trying to get bigger, get stronger, get faster, and even on the mental side of things, it's personal, it's your journey. It shouldn't be about anyone else. So the best thing you can do to learn is just not compare yourself to anyone, because that's only gonna make you fall farther behind on the line. And it's a cool thing once you learn how to see something for yourself, because then you just feel unstoppable and you learn to compete against your own self on a daily basis. So I think we'll call that good for that question. I'm not gonna lie, this is our third time trying to shoot this clip here because I have no storage on my phone. And yes, I shoot everything on my iPhone because I don't want to buy a camera because it's a lot of money. So this is our third time shooting on this, and I think we're gonna get it this time, so we're gonna try it. So this question is on creatine, and is it as bad for you as your mom makes it out to be? Because growing up, I was always told that creatine was the worst thing ever. It's basically a steroid because it makes you lose your hair, it makes you grow boobs, it's not good for you. But the reality of it is, it's not that bad. I think the misconceptions people get is just hearing rumors from people who don't know what they're talking about. And there's always going to be those people in the fitness industry who have no idea what they're talking about, just like in any other industry, in the business world, whether you own a restaurant, doesn't matter what you do. There's going to be people who don't know what they're talking about, and they're going to be preaching false advice to you. Where the reality of it is, creatine is one of the most scientifically researched supplements, and it's the most scientifically proven supplements to work and give you more muscle gains inside the gym when used correctly. And I think it's important to note that no, a supplement will not do anything good for you alone. That's when diet training comes into play. But creatine can certainly be a very helpful aid to you once used properly. So I was gonna ask you, I know I personally take creatine. How about you for yourself, Jared?
Yeah, I take creatine.
Yeah. And how much how much creatine do you take per day? Do you take it regularly, every day?
Yeah, I take it every day. I only take 5 grams a day. So,
that's smart, yeah.
Which is the normal dosage.
Pretty much, yeah. And I think the biggest thing with creatine is that you're consistent with it. Just like with anything, consistency is kind of the name of the game here. But whether you work out or not, creatine is proven to be most effective when it's taken every day, even on off days. Just 5 grams per day. I know most servings of creatine in a little scooper automatically are 5 grams, so just take a little scoop a day, just take it down the hatch with some water, mix it in with your pre-workout. Doesn't matter to me, whatever works best for you is what you're gonna get results on. So that's that. Okay, so this next question, I actually struggled with myself when I was first getting into the gym and figuring what to do. And this question is, should I bulk up or cut first? And I think I've been talking a lot here, so what do you think on this question, Jared? How would you go about this?
So actually, back in high school, when I just started getting heavily into lifting, I was only bulking up. And then I took that year of not lifting and everything kind of just like went away and I was left with this extra fat. And the way that I ended up starting was I started out with certain calorie goals that allowed me to maintain my muscle and burn fat at the same time. And what actually ended up happening was I lost my fat, but I actually gained 10 pounds of muscle at the same time. So I kind of just like fluctuated weight, but ended up maintaining at the end of it. But I mean, in my opinion, I think that if you're skinny fat or if you don't have a lot of lifting experience, maybe cut first and try and just figure out the basics and not trying to get into that heavy weight for when you're starting to bulk up, because you're prone to injury. Like you could really risk something if you're just going to bulk up right away and you don't have the right lifting technique and all this other stuff. So
yeah, I think that's a great point. I just think the overall thing of what Jared was getting at there is really, if you are someone who maybe has a little bit of body fat to lose, maybe just cut down to an ideal body fat and then spend majority of your time bulking up. Because I think even myself right now, I'm spending months on end in a calorie surplus trying to build as much size and mass to my frame as I can. And same for Jared here. I mean, we're spending days trying to get as much food as we can, obviously keeping our calories and macros in check, but it takes a lot of time to build muscle. So if you're first starting out, just cut down some body fat real quick. You can do that in a matter of weeks, and then prioritize your time bulking up. And hopefully by then you've learned a lot more, you've mastered your form a little bit, and you can just be a lot more efficient in your time in a calorie surplus. So definitely probably cut down a little bit, but then for the first few years and months of your lifting career, just build as much size and mass to your frame as you can, because ultimately that's what's going to help you look better longer down the line. Hey guys, so if you're like us, one of the biggest things that we had to learn how to do was learn how to stay on track and make progress well in school. And I know we're both currently in college right now, but we started, back in high school, and it was a challenge then because lots of times I still live with my parents, I'll be honest with you, but you live with your parents, they're always cooking your food, you are on this kind of like schedule that's more so tailored to your parents or your family's lifestyle, and it doesn't always align with your goals and your priorities. So one thing that we'll bring up for is, doesn't matter what you want to do, there's always going to be a way. It might not be ideal, but there's always going to be a way. So I think the biggest thing that I learned how to do in high school was learn how to cook for myself, because you're not going to get what you want by eating your parents' food that you cook. Not saying your parents' food is bad, most of the time it's very good food and healthy food, but say if you're trying to build muscle, your parents' salad and veggies and all that good stuff they're going to give you isn't always going to be enough food to support your calorie surplus and allow you to gain muscle. And even down the line, maybe your parents don't pay much attention to what they're eating and they aren't the healthiest eaters. You have the choice to cook for yourself and cook something that's more nutritional and that's going to allow you to hit your goals. How about yourself? What was in high school? I know that was probably a struggle for you too, was learning how to kind of get by your parents.
Yeah, and honestly, like in high school, my mom would always cook for me. And when it came down to it, it would always be some sort of pasta or like a pizza or something like that. Because I was a really picky eater growing up, and as you get older, obviously your taste buds change and you adapt to more food. But I kind of struggled and lacked in getting protein in every single day. And that was ultimately a struggle, especially because I was a picky eater. But trying to figure out what foods you like that have a lot of protein in them, and what foods you like that have good carbs rather than just like bad carbs. Like I was eating a lot of mac and cheese, and it's just stuff that's not that healthy for you and has high sodium. But yeah.
No, that's a really good point. I think so. Kind of the biggest thing is learning how to cook for yourself, because that's a huge help. You're gonna need that later down the line when you have your own family as well. But also, it's just, if it is a big thing to you to have dinner with your family every night, or maybe it's important to your family that you guys all sit at the dinner table every night, I would say prioritize the rest of your day in a way where you can get most of your hard things knocked off the table, and then you can enjoy yourself later with your family. So for example, say whatever meal your family is making, it doesn't have a whole lot of protein. Make sure you get more of your protein in earlier in the day so you don't have to worry about it later on the line. Or say your parents are making say it's pizza night with your parents, and you're having some pizza and it's really dense in calories and carbs. Maybe save a little bit of food, make sure you're eating mainly protein, some leaner, some less calorie meals earlier on the day so you have room for that. Or even the opposite, if it's not a whole lot of food, maybe eat more food earlier in the day so you are already ahead of your calorie goal, or just eat more food after. But there's always a way to make it work, and it's just learning how to manage your time, how to cook, and just take care of yourself. This is a really big question, and honestly I might get some heat for this one just because I'm not a girl. But this question is advice for girls first going to the gym or trying to make gains in the gym. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try and answer this to the best of our abilities and really just kind of figure out what works best for girls. And to be honest, it's not that complicated. In the end, gaining muscle comes down to getting a progressive overload in the gym, eating enough calories with protein, carbs, and fat to support that effort in the gym to allow protein synthesis to occur and to build muscle. So the biggest thing I see with girls is they're always like, I wanna tone up and look really good, or I wanna build the butt up so I can have a good beach body and stuff like that. There's nothing wrong with that. But I think the thing with girls is they have trouble understanding what the word toning means, and all toning means simply just losing body fat. So if they want to look more defined and toned, that means they want to lose body fat. But then at the same time, if they want to build their booty up, say they don't have very good genetics, they don't have good muscle mass, and they don't have a big butt, and say that's what they want, they're not going to get a big butt by focusing on toning down and cutting body fat. That's when they have to focus on building muscle. And just like with guys, you can be the most shredded guy in the room, and I always thought this when I was a beginner, that you could be shredded year round and that's how you get your results. But no, what makes you look better and what builds up your frame, what builds that booty, what builds that chest, what builds those arms is taking years and months of being in a caloric surplus and slowly building up that muscle mass. And the thing with that is girls hear the term bulk, or they hear eating in a calorie surplus, and they automatically get scared that they're gonna get fat and big and bulky. But nothing happens overnight. And honestly, if it's to the point where it's getting kind of out of control, you're gonna be able to catch it, be able to dial it back, or just catch it so it doesn't go overboard, because it doesn't happen overnight. It takes a long time. So I guess that's really what I have to say about it. I kind of went off there. Is there anything you need to say real quick?
Yeah, so a huge thing that I hear from a lot of the friends that I have that are girls that want to start getting in the gym and looking better is they're scared to go in the gym because they think that they're going to get bulky and strong looking. And a huge misconception is, at the end of the day, it's not about what exactly you're doing in the gym. Obviously it's a huge part of it, but at the end of the day, it's what you're putting in your body. So like girls, if they're putting thousands of calories into their bodies every day, obviously they're going to gain weight. But if they're eating the right amount every single day, they're not going to gain 10 pounds in 3 months versus like if they want to tone down and stuff like that. So I just think that girls out there, you guys shouldn't be scared of getting into the gym and trying to work out and figuring things out.
And that's the thing too, is maybe you take what we just said and it helps you a lot. The other thing is we're all different and we all learn what works best for us. So I think that one of the best things to do is just get your ass into the gym and go trial and error with what works for you, what doesn't work. And as time goes on, you kind of build up this way of training, this way of eating, and that's ultimately what's going to get you the best results. All right, this next question I have here is a pretty debated one, and you can go many different ways, but this question is cardio killing your gains? So I guess right off the bat, what do you think about this question or statement? Does cardio kill your gains?
I mean, I always thought it did, but at the end of the day, it is what you're putting into your body and how many calories you're getting. I mean, I always thought, like back when I just started cutting right away from the start, back about a year ago, I would always do cardio in the morning, and then I would lift late at night and kind of just spread it out so that I wasn't super tired for when I did lift, or if I were to do cardio after my lifting, then I wouldn't be super tired already for that cardio.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think the thing with cardio, and what many of us need to realize is all cardio is, it's a means of burning calories. And I don't even want to get into the whole athletic one thing, because if you're an athlete, there's a whole different purpose to cardio. And yes, cardio is very good for your body, it's very healthy for your heart and everything. But in terms of bodybuilding and your body composition, all cardio is a way to burn calories. And if you're trying to gain muscle and you need to be in a surplus of calories, if you're doing an hour of cardio every day and you're burning 400 or 500 calories, you could potentially be taking yourself out of that calorie surplus. And at that point in time, yes, it is going to kill your gains. But if you're acknowledging the fact that you're burning extra calories with that cardio, so therefore you eat an extra 300 to 500 calories to keep yourself in that surplus, then you'll see gains and you'll see progress just as fine. So it comes down to knowing how much you're burning throughout that day as a total amount of calories, not just a specific period of time, and taking into account with your diet to support that amount of calories burned. Personally, I'm in a bulk right now, and I only do one cardio session per week just because I rather enjoy it 1 day per week. It makes me feel a little bit good. I like to get a little bit of sweat on, and I try and maintain some cardiovascular health, even though I'm in a bulk right now and it's not ideal. But as I work my way into a bulk, I slowly decrease that cardio by maybe a session every 2 weeks, decrease it, and work my way up to doing no cardio at all. Because that's just going to slowly further my calorie deficit as my metabolism starts to ramp up. And ultimately, that's just going to allow me to keep making my gains and seeing progress. Because once you're in a bulk for a prolonged period of time, or you're trying to continue to make gains, your metabolism gets pretty high. So it's at the point right now where I know you're having to eat like 5,000 to 6,000 calories a day. I'm having to eat like 4,000. That's a lot of food. So it's just not ideal if we do an hour of cardio every day, because that's only going to make it so we have to eat even more food. And that's not what we want, because we already have to stuff foods on our face right now because our metabolisms are so high. So just figure out what works for you, but pay attention to how many calories you're burning throughout the entire day, and plan your diet accordingly. All right, this is gonna be our last question here, and I could go on and on just with these questions and this question in particular, and that is, do you take steroids and what are your thoughts on them? So right off the bat, if you guys think I am taking steroids, you are absolutely crazy and you have no knowledge in this whole like fitness industry whatsoever, because that's just crazy to think of. I'm not even that big. Yes, I can post pictures and angle myself a certain way where, you know, my muscles look more defined and they look full and I look big. But just because you see a picture of someone doesn't mean they are that crazy all the time. Most of the time, I'm not pumped up. I look more like flat, and I don't look nearly as impressive as I do when I'm in the gym with the pump. And so I'm not on steroids. I mean, never say never, but as of right now, I have no plans to ever take steroids just because there's so much risk with them. And that's just not what I'm about. I'm all about being the best that I can possibly can be with my natural genetic limits, because I was born and made this way for a reason. So I just don't see the point in altering your genetic makeup to make yourself something that you're not. So I don't know, obviously not. I know what you're gonna say, but they don't, so.
Yeah, I am definitely not on steroids. I mean, there's a huge talk about it, and just like with a lot of famous people out there are a lot of famous people out there that take them, but they don't say anything about it. And a lot of pictures out there will, like an example is Calvin Von Mager. Like he came out and said that is taking steroids, but at the same time, like that guy has been doing this for years upon years. And if you are to ever take steroids, which you probably shouldn't because there's a lot of health risks with it, you should try and reach your maximum natural potential before you even consider it. So
yeah, I think that's a great point. And going off your genetic potential, that's not something you reach in 6 months. That's not something you reach in 2 years. That's something that it takes 10 years to reach. Maybe if you are genetically just gifted, you can reach that in 6 to 8 years of consistent hard training and nutrition. But you should not be the kind of guy to just work out for a year and think, oh, I have done all I can do, I have to go do steroids. You shouldn't do steroids if you're the guy who thinks they're jacked, but they've never seen their abs in their lifetime because they have no idea how to lose body fat. You shouldn't do steroids if you're the guy who has all these other health problems to you, because if you do steroids, you're only going to increase them further. You shouldn't do steroids if you have no idea how to do your research and figure out what's healthy and what's not healthy. I will say though, there are people though who can be responsible with them. There are people who get their bodies monitored, they can get their blood tested on a regular basis, and they know what they're putting into their body, and they know how they're going to respond, and they know what they're going to do to ensure that they're staying healthy. Because that's the biggest thing here, is whether you're gaining muscle, whether you're just lifting the head for the fun of it, you want to be healthy. And if you're doing something to make yourself look crazy but you're not even being healthy, then what's the point to life? Because you want to live life to your fullest, and you can't do that when you're not healthy. So just be responsible with it. Train for years, figure out what your potential is as a natural lifter, because we will surprise ourselves with what we can do and what you set your mind to. So don't even think about that until years down the road, because there's no point to. So yeah, I think we're gonna call that video good for now. Hopefully we covered up some of those important questions. But yeah, so like always, if you guys have any more questions, I'd love to hear them. Jared would love to hear them, and yeah, I'll probably get this guy in some more videos later down the line, maybe more besides just like working out, because this guy, he's got a lot of good information to him as well, and you guys can probably benefit from listening to him too. So I'll link his Instagram down below. He doesn't have a YouTube at the moment, so maybe we'll have to get him started sometime soon, but I'll link his Instagram down below, and see you later.